What is up, guys? Faces Gaming here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Real quick, I'm just gonna scroll down because we're talking about Sonic. So, look at all the Sonic games that we have at our disposal. Unfortunately, we're not going to be talking about all of these. Not this time. I'm not that versed in Sonic yet. So, for this list, we're going to be talking about the standard Sonic stuff, 2D and 3D. But we're gonna leave spin-offs and handhelds alone for this portion of the tier list. We will come back to this tier list in the near future and do the handheld version when I have more experience with that, because I'm still not that well versed in the handheld department. And fan games, we'll leave fan games alone. We'll leave fan games alone until I have conquered almost all of them. So, as you all know, we're going to be starting with the Genesis Classics. Then we're going to go down to the 3D games. And, of course, we end with Sonic X Shadow Generations, and we'll talk about both games. We'll talk about both games individual and not the... we'll talk about both games individual. I'm going to talk about what they bring to the table. So, with that being said, let's jump right in. Starting with the game that started it off. Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis, released all the way back in 1991. What else can I say about this game that I haven't already said before? It set the foundation for Sonic going forward. It's still a fun game even by today's standards. I know a lot of people don't like going back to Sonic 1. I'm not one of those people though. I love going back to Sonic 1 every chance I get. Whether I'm playing or whether I'm emulating the Genesis original, going through the Mega Collection version, or playing on Origins Plus, I love playing Sonic 1. Sonic 1 always goes into B tier because it's just the most, it's the foundation of Sonic. It goes into B tier, okay? Up next, we have Sonic CD. I talked Sonic CD to death last time. I'm going to do it again. Sonic CD is one of the most underrated Genesis era Sonic games that came out. This game, it has out there level design, and the game is just weird. Okay, the game is weird, but it's surprisingly fun. And the soundtrack, I mean, I'm not gonna bother talking about Sonic soundtrack this time because everybody knows a Sonic game soundtrack is freaking fire. For Sonic CD, I'm gonna put it alongside Sonic 1 into B tier. It could be A tier, but B tier seems fine because having to track down all the Eggman machines or holographs for like that one trophy was a pain. Fun, but for a pain. But it was a pain. Sonic 2? Okay, Sonic 2. I don't know. I don't know about this one. Sonic 2. Alright, I'm gonna put Sonic 2 into A tier. Here's why. I'd put it in S because the game is fun until you get to Metropolis Zone. Metropolis Zone brings the game down for me a lot. No matter how many times I go back through that game, I never look forward to Metropolis Zone. Even with the Chaos Emeralds, I never look forward to I never look forward to Metropolis Zone. Sky Chase is fine. Wing Fortress, I just go supersonic and skip to the end like I always do. And Death Egg Zone is really not that bad. But Metropolis Zone to me is where the game really starts to go downhill. Again, even with Chaos Emeralds. Speaking of which, I didn't talk about Chaos Emeralds or Time Stars in the last two games, because they don't really do anything. And in this game, they don't do anything other than give you Supersonic, which is awesome. They don't change the ending. Not that I think. Sonic 2 is the only Sonic game in the entire franchise where getting all the Chaos Emeralds is not required. Because you get the same ending with the Chaos Emeralds that you get without the Chaos Emeralds, which is interesting. But either way, Sonic 2 is an A tier game, no questions asked. Okay, up next we have Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and the full package Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Okay, if we're talking about vanilla Sonic 3, I'm gonna put it in A tier. Vanilla Sonic 3 in A, Sonic and Knuckles will go into B. It's a slight step down from Sonic 3. From Vanilla Sonic 3. I know we got Mushroom Hill, Flying Battery, Sandopolis, Lava Reef, Hidden Palace, Sky Sanctuary, and Death Egg. I know, but what hinders this game is that it goes back to the Sonic 1 and Sonic 1, 2, and CD problems. It was Sonic 1 and 2 thing where if you lose all your lives without continues, you get a game over and have to start all the way over. So, unfortunately, that brings it down. That brings it down slightly. Just down. It would, on its own, it's up here because it's the same game. But because of that drawback of being, a harder game, a much harder game, but with the classic continue system, but with the classic game over, like if you get a game over, you go back to the title screen, it goes down here. Unfortunately. As for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, this game goes straight into S tier because it's basically both these two games combined to make the full experience. And, of course, it brings with it some extra stuff. Of course, Knuckles gets to run through the Sonic 3 portion and then his portion of Sonic and Knuckles, of course. Also, Tails finally gets his super form, Knuckles gets his super form as well as his hyper form, and Sonic gets his super form as well as his hyper form. And again, Hyper Sonic and Hyper Knuckles do not come back in any other game outside of Sonic 3, which is a bummer because I think that is an awesome award. But yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles gets put in S tier. I don't think anybody would disagree with me there. No questions asked here. Okay, Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 1 and Episode 2. Episode 1, I'm going to put into C tier. I'm going to put in C. Episode 2 goes into B. Nothing much more needs to be said than that. I don't hate Sonic 4 as much as other Sonic fans do. But after years of playing these two games to death, I don't go back to these games all that often. I'll go back to Episode 2 than I will Episode 1. That's just how I feel about it. I don't hate these two games. But I just don't go back to these games all that much. Alright, and finally, we have Sonic Mania and Sonic Mania Plus. Both these games go into S. Actually, yeah. Both these games go into S tier with no question. Mania Plus is the same game just with Encore mode with, Mighty and Ray, of course. It's the same game. It's the same awesome game that we've been playing since 2017. I'm gonna tell you this now. If you've gone your entire life without playing Sonic Mania, play that game. You don't have to get Mania Plus if you don't want to. You don't have to. But if you want to play as Mighty and Ray, you can. Pretty much Sonic Mania is a heavily upgraded version of Sonic 3 without Hypersonic. But it's still great. Special stages are great. The stages themselves are great. Even if half the game is or is not original, I don't care. The stages are fun. I don't really care that much. And that is it for all the 2D games that I played. All the 2D style games that I played. I have not fully played Sonic Superstars yet. I have not fully played it yet, so I'm not gonna talk about it. Instead, we could talk about Sonic's 3D adventures. And technically, I would start here with Sonic 3D Blast, but it's technically not mainline, so we can't exactly talk about it. But I'm gonna break the rules. Okay, 3D Blast. I'm gonna break the rules here. I'm gonna break the rules. We're gonna talk about 3D Blast and Sonic Jam. That is it. We could talk about Sonic the Fighters or Sonic R, but those are spin-offs. Yeah, I'm just gonna break the rules this one time. Alright, Sonic 3D Blast. It's not really a 3D game per se. But it's 3D in the title. It's a pretty decent game, though. I give it a B. It's a pretty decent game. It's not a bad game. Just the depth perception can really mess you up, though, if you're going for jumps. And Sonic Jam. I haven't played Sonic Jam, but it's basically an open world little sandbox area you can run around with Sonic. So I'll give it an A because it was the first Sonic game of its kind. And that is it for the classic 3D titles. Onward to the big name titles. Alright, Up next, we have Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure DX. The DX and the regular adventure do not matter. The name may not matter. It's the same game. Same thing for Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. Same game. It does not matter. Okay, so Sonic Adventure, you guys know how I feel about this game. I really do like this game. I like this game. The big portion, now that I'm back in the big portion, I remembered how much I don't like the big portion, but it's not as bad as my first try, because I understand it much better now, which is crazy to say out loud. Sonic Adventure, both it and its remake director's cut, which just gives you 50 additional missions to do. It's basically the same game. I give this game a A. I'm putting this game in A. I'm putting both these games in A, because even though I haven't played DX, it's basically DX is Sonic Adventure. There's really, again, if DX is just Sonic Adventure with extra missions. That's literally it. It's the same game. So there's really nothing else much to talk about. Alright, up next, Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Same game, just with extra content from the multiplayer. Sonic Adventure 2, for me, sits on the same level as Sonic Adventure 1, and I put it in A. Everything, there's really not much I can say about Sonic Adventure 2 other than I like the game, but I prefer Adventure 1's gameplay style to Adventure 2's. I prefer, especially for like Knuckles and Rouge, I prefer what they did for Knuckles and Rouge. I prefer what they did for Knuckles in Sonic Adventure than they did for Knuckles and Sonic Adventure 2, because those treasure hunting stages are not fun to go to. Or they're not fun to go through in Sonic Adventure 2, I tell you that. They are not fun. I'm just going to be honest with you. They're not fun to go through with that radar. It's more trouble. It's actually more trouble to go through those treasure hunting stages in Adventure 2 than it is in Adventure 1. But other than that, I don't really mind the shooting levels. Not really. That's about it. That's really about it. I have nothing else to say about Sonic Adventure 2. The game's great, and it's an A tier. Up next, we have Sonic Heroes, a guilty pleasure of mine. I love Sonic Heroes. I'm going to just be honest with you. I love Sonic Heroes. Even though a lot of people may not like Sonic Heroes, I love this game. I love this game. My favorite stage is Frog Forest. I love that stage. I love this game. I'm going to put this game at the top of B. I'm going to put this game at the top of B and not A because of the special stages. And the fact that Chaotic Story is there. Listen, I'm not a big fan of the Chaotic mission-based gameplay. I'm not gonna lie, not a big fan. Every time I go back to Sonic Heroes, I do Team Sonic, Team Dark, and Team Rose, and then I stop there because I don't have enough interest to go into Team Chaotix. I really don't, which sucks, but that's how I feel. Up next, we have Shadow the Hedgehog. This game, I loved this game as a child. Like, you couldn't tell me that this game was bad because I loved Shadow the Hedgehog. Looking back at Shadow the Hedgehog, I see its flaws. But I put it from my most recent game playthrough of this game that I played just last year. Well, earlier this year, I should say. I put this game right behind Sonic Heroes into B tier. It's not god awful. It's just kind of there. It just kind of meanders on. You have 3 play styles. You have a hero route, a neutral route, and a dark route. And then other mini routes within those routes. Got hero, got hero dark, neutral dark, hero dark, dark, and all that. There's tons of mini endings depending on which stage and which ending and which mission you did. That's about it. It has infinite replayability if you can stomach going through Westopolis over 10 times. But again, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's just kind of middle of the road. Okay, up next, Sonic 06. I still have not played this game. I promise. I said last time I did this list, I was gonna do it. I promise you I will. I just haven't gotten around to getting it. I've looked everywhere. I've looked on Amazon. They're always out of stock on this game for some reason, or at least wherever I live. But I will try to play Sonic 06 because I said I was gonna do it. Sonic and the Secret Rings. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Sonic and the Secret Rings. Let's talk about it. Sonic and the Secret Rings. I went back to this game, and this game is not as fun as I remember it being. This game is not as good as I remember it being. I forgot the beginning of this game is terrible because controlling Sonic without all those upgrades is just not fun, man. It is not fun in the slightest. It is not. However, I don't think it's D tier level. I'm gonna put it just in C tier, right behind in front of. No, but I still enjoy Sonic 4 Episode 1 a little bit more than this. Even with all the upgrades though, to Sonic and his movement, the controls still don't work all that well. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why I haven't gone back and really played Sonic and the Secret Ring since I did it back in high school. Ouch, that hurts. Up next, we have Sonic Unleashed. This goes straight in the S tier with no question. It goes straight. I'm gonna put it at the top of S tier. If you know me, you know that I love Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed, it's the hardest Sonic game, It's the hardest of the 3 Sonic games you'll ever play. Bring your A game. But getting S strength in this game is so thrilling. Recently, I did a run of Eggman Land where I got an S rank. You don't know how good it feels. You don't know how good you are in Sonic Unleashed until you got an S rank on Eggman Land. On your first try. Just gonna throw that out there. Even if you spent the previous day doing practice runs, we ain't gonna talk about it. But Sonic Unleashed is fun. I love the gameplay, except for maybe that one level. Except for Savannah Citadel Act 2. I cannot do that level for the life of me. I can't. I don't hate Sonic's drift in this game. I actually do enjoy the drift, though. It works for me, but that level, it just does not work for me. I'm sorry. But other than that, Sonic Unleashed is an S-tier Sonic game, and I just throw that up there. You know another... Alright. Up next, we have... not really Sonic Unleashed Wii or PS2. We're not going to talk about these, because I really can't talk about Sonic Unleashed Wii yet, because I haven't really fully played it, so I can't really talk about it. So we're just going to skip it to Sonic and the Black Knight. Alright, Sonic and the Black Knight, I did play this game a tiny bit more. And right now I'm in the plains. I don't remember the name of the plains, but I'm in the plains. And let me tell you, I haven't played Sonic and the Black Knight in a while because my Wii remote is dead and batteries are not cheap. But Sonic and the Black Knight, I'm gonna put it in front of Sonic Heroes in B tier. For right now, it's a pretty solid game right now. It's a B tier game. Maybe it'll get better if I play it more. But right now, it's sitting in B tier. That's as much as I can talk about it right now. Alright, guys, we're almost done. Just not that many games left to go. Up next, we have Sonic Colors, and Sonic Colors Ultimate. I'm not going to talk about DS because that's a handheld. We'll talk about handheld games later. Alright, Sonic Colors for the Wii. We're gonna put this up at the top of A tier. It could be S tier. If the levels were a lot longer, in my opinion. If the levels were longer, this could be S tier. What we have is great. The Wii version is great. The levels were longer. Up next, we have Sonic Colors Ultimate. Ugh. I'm putting this in D. I gotta put Sonic Colors Ultimate in D. They did Sonic Colors so dirty with this remaster. They turned the bloom up to 11. Game-breaking bugs that weren't there in the original are there. We have horrendous loading times, and don't even get me started on the loading times on the Switch. Don't even get me started on that. They did Sonic Colors Ultimate dirty, dude. So if you want to play Sonic Colors, don't waste your time with Sonic Colors Ultimate. Go play the original. It is much better in every sense of the way. Trust me on this. Alright, up next we have Sonic Generations for the we have Sonic Generations. We're going to talk about the original and the remaster that came out recently. We're going to get there. The remaster is right here. This one will stand in the gap for the remaster of Sonic Generations, of course. But we're not going to talk about this just yet. Got to do the games in order, of course. Okay, Sonic Generations, we put this at the top of S, at the top of A. This game would be S if the time meter wasn't as bad as it was. If the time meter wasn't as bad as it was in Planet Wisp. I don't think I need to say anything else other than that. It's fan agreed upon that Planet Wisp and Sonic and Generations is worse than Colors. But gameplay wise, Generations is almost S tier gameplay wise, but that final boss, man. Final boss. Alright, up next we have Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces. I don't hate this game, but I don't go back to this game all that. I don't go back to this game at all. So I'm gonna give Sonic Forces a C tier. It's not D tier quality. It's not that bad. It's functional. It works. But other than going for numbered rings, so the moon rings and then the red rings, there's nothing much else to do. There's nothing really to Sonic Forces. The levels play themselves. You can really beat the levels with your eyes closed if you try hard enough. So, yeah, Sonic Forces sits in C tier, and I don't think anybody would disagree. I know some might want me to put it down into D, but I don't hate Sonic Forces that much. I'm just putting it in C. Alright, almost done, guys. Whew. Up next, we have Sonic Frontiers. I talked about this game recently. I talked about how this was the best 3D game we had, and I still do think that. Even with the Final Horizon update that came out recently, which, if you played day one, you know how bad it was. It's much better now that they patched a lot of stuff, but day one, Knuckles, Amy, and Tails were horrible. Like, it didn't matter if you leveled them. Even a fully leveled Sonic against those souped up bosses was getting cooked. So everybody, myself included, just ignored those bosses. And plus, I just didn't have an interest in fully completing Final Horizon like I did the base game, which sucks because I enjoyed, like, base Sonic Frontiers. I go back to it and I just realized how much fun that game was. Although this game has its issues, I'm not gonna lie, I still think this game is great though. It's not S tier quality, but I do put it in A tier, but I put it below Sonic Colors. Because I still think that Generations of Colors are better games gameplay wise. But Sonic Frontiers is also a pretty dang good game. Those boss fights, that just made me think. I'm gonna put it up at the top of 8 above Generations. Actually, no, we're back. I still think I like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations a lot more than Frontiers though. Frontiers is a great game. Don't get it twisted. I love that game. I'm in the process of trying to platinum that game on PS5. But when it comes to Colors and Generations, no-brainers. Speaking of, let's get to it. Okay, Sonic X Generations. This will be Sonic Generations. Nothing much has changed. It's Sonic Generations, now in 60 FPS with higher graphical fidelity. It's the same game we played 13 years ago. It's still as good as it was 13 years ago. And the final half of the game is still as bad as it was 13 years ago. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That's how I feel. Just so you know, I haven't even fully completed the Sonic Generations portion of Sonic X Generations, but it's Sonic Generations. Everything I've done, everything I'm going to do in that game, I did 11 years ago. Hello. It's just going to be done at 60 FPS. Hello. And then finally, the game I really want to talk about is, of course, Shadow Generations. Shadow Generations, for me, I spent 5 days playing this game straight. 5 days after launch. 5 days, including launch, I've been playing that game. I played nothing but Shadow Generations nonstop. And I gotta tell you, for me, S tier, right behind Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Shadow Generations was so much fun. I haven't had this much fun playing a Sonic game since Frontiers. I'm gonna be honest. It has been since Sonic Frontiers that I've had this much fun playing a Sonic game. And the character I'm playing with isn't Sonic. If you don't know what Shadow Generations is, it's basically Sonic Frontiers 2.0. The hub world is like Sonic Frontiers. The gameplay style, like the stages themselves, are remixes of stages from the past. Like for instance, you have Radical Highway and Space Colony Art from Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog. You have Rail Canyon from Sonic Heroes, Kingdom Valley from Sonic 06, and Sunset Heights from Sonic Forces, just to name a few. And Chaos Island from Sonic Frontiers, but that's another topic. If you play Shadow Generations, you know the kind of conundrum you have in your head right now. But regardless, Shadow Generations, it's a great time. The truth be told, Sonic X Shadow Generations is great alone. It's good enough just for Shadow Generations alone. You don't even need to worry about the Sonic Generations portion if you don't want to. But if you bought Shadow Generations, most likely you're going to play Sonic Generations. And either way, this game is awesome. I highly recommend, if you haven't played it yet, go play this game and show Sega this is a type of game that we want from now on. We want good games like this. If we're gonna get good games, we're gonna get remakes, we want them to be like this. Not like what they did with Colors Ultimate. Like this. Leave the game alone, bump up the art quality, bump up the graphical quality, and boost the FPS, and just leave the game alone. If you want to touch up the gameplay, if you want to touch up some stages, do that. If you want to change some stuff, do that. But just leave the core game alone. That's it. That is it. That's all you gotta do. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with another tier list. I haven't done this in a while, but I did this all in one take. So, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I know I've been really inconsistent, but I'm taking it really slow now, because now that I'm not pumping out videos, I can really sit down and think about what videos I like to do. As for Mugen, nothing in the tank yet. Not ever since that last video I made, which got 93 views, which I'm actually happy about. So thank you guys for the continued support. We're also closing in on 4,000 subscribers. We're at last I checked, we're at 3,700. I think either 20 or 12. I actually have my phone here real quick. Let me just check. Give me a second, guys. 3,722 subscribers. We're closing in on 4K. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button so we can bump those numbers up. Alright, I've done enough yapping. I'm gonna get out of your hair. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video coming soon, whenever I decide to do it. Peace.